what happens, everybody sticks
We're
with
going to have
team.
to blow up the entire system. And you know what we're going to have to do?
No, I don't know.
You know what we're going to, yes,
Yeah.
what you're going to have to do?
You just got to vote.
Honestly, from what your closing argument is, you're going to have to get rid of the Electoral College. Because the people...
I don't see it.
Because the minority in this country decides who the judges are and they decide who the president is.
But you need a constitutional amendment to do that.
And if Joe Biden wins, Democrats can stack the courts and they can do that amendment and they can get it passed.
Well, you need 2/3 vote in the Congress and 3/4 of the state legislatures.
They may be able to do that.
Maybe. No matter what.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I am your host, the Ranting Monkey. And I hope you're having a better day than me or Don there. Holy shit. What an idiot. God, that startled me. Sorry. It takes a lot to make me agree with Chris Cuomo. Don Lemon, we got to blow it up. We got to change the whole system. We got to change everything. We'll get more into that in just a minute. What a fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. Wait, are we 30 seconds in? Can I say fucking? Yeah, cool. I can say fucking. I can have all the fucks I want according to YouTube. Anyway, guys, Monkey's had a rough day. I told you last night that I was out of medicine and I was going to go get it today. And I got there and they're like, we don't have a prescription for you, which was weird because I had called my doctor 2 hours before I went to make sure that the prescription was called in. And they're like, yeah, we'll call it in. We'll rush it. We'll make it an urgent matter. And I get there and like, yeah, we don't have that. I thought, oh, hell. So I come home and I'm sitting here and it is 10 minutes to 7. 10 minutes to 7. And I get a text from my wife. The pharmacy had just texted that my order was ready. I live 20 minutes from the pharmacy, guys. Absolute Zero, thank you. Hey, I can't stay, but Ranting Monkey Sama, I love you and everyone here. God bless. Have a good night. Thank you for the donation. Very kind, very kind. Yeah, so it was a rough day for Monkey, and I'm still feeling it, you guys. I'm on as many pills as I can reasonably take that aren't my gabapentin, but oh man. So if this show abruptly ends, understand I'm doing my best here. So let's get back to Donnie Don. The Democrats will just stack the court if Joe Biden wins. And they've been warning about that. They've been saying they're going to do that. And if you guys don't understand, typically packing the court just means putting your justices on there. But now they're going full-fledged packing the court a la FDR style. And what that means is if Trump nominates somebody and she's put on the bench as is expected, we'll get to that a little bit later, then the court is going to have a 5.5 to 3.5 majority, with Roberts being a half each way, majority conservative. So what they will do, instead of waiting for one of the 9 justices to retire and just replacing them with the liberal, they'll add more people to the court. They will bring it up to 11 or 15 from 9 and just make all of the new ones liberal justices. Yeah. This is something they're talking about doing openly. This is something they're bragging about doing. Something that they're all calling on each other to do. It's asinine. And their supporters like, yes, we've got to do that, because apparently being retarded is what it means to be on the left these days. Donald Trump is exercising his constitutional authority. We've got to, we've got to be shitheads about it. Look, there's nothing stopping them from stacking the court. There is no limit on how big the court can be. Thank you, Dark Resurrect. Howdy, Monk in chat, hooligans. Howdy. Thank you for that. There's no limit on the size of the court. That is arbitrary. Every so often it's been increased. FDR did it specifically to stack the court and get his agenda pushed through, which was probably one of the greatest atrocities, politically speaking, of our country. I say politically speaking. Nobody, what about slavery? That was a humanity crisis there. That was some horrible shit. I'm not comparing it to that. I'm saying politically, Jesus Christ, what that man did to get his agenda pushed through, which completely changed this country. It really did. Go look. It turned us into what we are now. And even what Roosevelt did wasn't that bad. If you look at what Roosevelt did for its time was like, oh my God. But by today's standards, like, that's all he did. But that's because what he did set up everything we have now. Re-elect Trump, try and pass an amendment to impose a maximum. That wouldn't be bad. Or I don't know. I've said before, I wouldn't mind if the court was bigger. We have 9 people who decide whether or not something is constitutional. And that seems a little bit small to me for a country of 340 million. I'm not sure adding more people will make it better or worse. But if you were going to do it, there would need to be specific parameters. You don't just ram them through because Joe Biden wins, so you add 4 new justices. What you would do is say, okay, we're going to add new justices. We will do it after the next presidential election, and then we'll do a couple more in the next one, and then a couple more in the next one, so that there's a time frame for when they're coming in and the people actually go, oh, this is something we want, rather than just go, Joe Biden's going to be elected. He's going to pick 6 new justices. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Yeah, we got to blow it all up. Got to get rid of the Electoral College, because the president and the courts are decided by people or by the minority. I hate to keep reminding people of this. We are not a democracy. We have a lot of democratic elements to us. We are a representative republic. Just a representative republic. That's what we are. Do you guys know how senators used to be appointed? They didn't. Yeah, exactly. No one nowhere. You and I are on the same spot. They didn't used to be voted on. That didn't come around till, oh God, I should know this date. Let's just say much later, because Monkey's brain is Swiss cheese right now. That there's an amendment for that. They had to amend it because it used to be that the state legislatures just picked who the senators were, because they are sent there to represent the state, not the entire nation. That's not what your senators are there for. Even your representatives aren't there to represent the entire nation. They're there to represent your districts. Doug Resurrect, thank you. I think the benefit of having a smaller court, hopefully them being the best in the justice system, will cause better decisions, hopefully. And I see the argument there, but then I know about the Kelo decision. So sorry, guys, I bring that one up a lot because I still can't. I remember reading about that when it happened, and my jaw hit the fucking floor. I'm like, there's no fucking way they decided. I remember watching the build up to it. I'm like, oh, this is an easy one. This is a slam dunk. And apparently it was, but not the way I thought. Not the way pretty much anybody watching the court thought. So I get what you're saying there, but I'm not necessarily sure that's true either. The Kelo decision, is it K-I-L-O, I think. It was a decision where a woman's home was taken for her so that so I believe it was a strip mall could be built, and their argument was that it was eminent domain because it was better off for the city because they would be getting tax revenue from it. It is an absolute disgusting decision. that the court said, yeah, that's fine. They took a woman's house so that they could make more tax revenue and claim that it fell under eminent domain. Let that sink into your head. You guys feel safe in your property? Oh, man. I don't like eminent domain laws. They screw over people. Well, the whole idea of eminent domain laws was that occasionally the government might need some of our land. And there are good reasons for it. If you're building a new highway from here to there, we're not going to go all the way around Farmer Brown's farm. We'll just cut right through it and we'll pay him for it. They took this woman's house. Yeah. Anyway, lock it in at 13. Each new president adds 1 until the 13 are met. I could even go with that. I don't know that it's going to be much better than 9, though. That's the thing. And when you start getting to a point like we're at right now, where we've had so many justices, this would be the 3rd justice that Trump gets to name in 3 years. Well, 4, I guess, because we are at the end of the 4th year. So in 4 years, 3 justices. That's not normal. Now, a president who sits for 8 years, maybe 3, maybe, but 4 years? You have some point where a bunch of them retire or die in a short period of time. You end up with a stacked thing. Thank you, Dangerous. Put the it's Kell. Yeah, I can never remember how that's spelled. I just remember it pissing me off. But do they always pay a fair MSRP on the land? I've heard lawsuits saying they didn't and the people won. No, not always. Look, they're buying stuff and it's the government, so they're not buying hammers from Lockheed Martin. They're buying your house from you. They're going to lowball it. Anyway, so I want to get back to old Don here because we got to get rid of the electoral system. Now, I don't know what Cuomo said because No, that's right. What Cuomo said. I did say it right. We're talking about Chris. I'm so used to not agreeing with that motherfucker, thinking about agreeing with him broke my brain for a minute. I don't know what Chris Cuomo said at the end there, because Don Lemon does say, going by your closing there, that's the only thing we could do is to blow up the system because the president we got to get rid of the electoral college because the president and the lawmakers, the justices are picked by the minority. So I'm not sure what Chris said. I'm really not. But if the president was held to his constitutional power, which, by the way, guys, he's not, and our justices actually just interpreted the law as written, or, whether or not it's constitutional as written, there would be no problem. There wouldn't be a problem. And take Roe v. Wade. This is the one, liberals are so scared right now. Oh, they are so scared because they are worried about Roe v. Wade. Why are you worried about Roe v. Wade? It's constitutional, right? You can show me in the Constitution where it says it's okay to abort, right? Or where there's anything that merits that interpretation? No? Huh. Why? I can't imagine why you're fucking afraid right now. They had to stretch the Bill of Rights so ridiculously for Roe v. Wade to pass that it's absurd to even teach that as law. It is. Look it up. What they use, the first, I want to say was it the first, the 5th, and the 14th? I know the 1st and the 14th are in there. And again, sorry guys, Swiss cheese brain over here for the evening. They used 3 different amendments to go. Actually, it's your right to put a hanger up in there and twist it around. It was absurd for them to come out and declare that there was a national right to abortion. It just was. And they should be scared of that one, because if it comes up again and it's 5.5 to 3.5, Roe v. Wade will go down. It'll be left up to the states, as it should have been. So, which is going to cause all kinds of interesting problems, you guys. She went across state lines for an abortion. Oh, she gets to go to jail now. Because I imagine they'll have laws similar to, like, you know, you can't go across state lines because in one state, 16 is the age of consent and 18 in the state you live in. If you go into a competing jurisdiction that's lower, you can be arrested for it. That's so what do you think is going to happen if you live in, say, Alabama and you try going to, I don't know, what's close to Alabama? I'm so bad at geography, you guys. Texas. Let's say you go to Texas to get it sucked out there in Austin. You come back and they throw your ass in jail. And then you get pregnant by the guards. They should be scared. And the idea that this has anything to do with the Electoral College is what really caught my ear listening to that Don Lemon thing. The rest of it, I'm not surprised. I've heard that over the last, when did Ginsburg die? 3 days ago now? Ever since she died, I've been hearing this. 4 days? What is it? She died on Friday? That's all I keep hearing is there's a problem with how we pick the senators. So that one I've heard quite a bit. Maybe we'll get back to that in a minute. But him bringing up the Electoral College, and I guess that's because Trump is the one who gets to pick this nominee instead of Hillary getting 3. Can you guys imagine what would have happened if Hillary had gotten 3? Imagine what the court would look like if Hillary had gotten 3 picks. I said it before, I didn't vote for Trump, but I'm glad he won solely because of the Supreme Court. Entirely because of the Supreme Court. And if you don't think Biden's picks will be worse, you're not paying attention. It's not like Joe Biden sits around collecting, like his entire 40-ass years in Congress, he's been just selecting good judges for if he ever gets to become president. Nah, somebody's going to bring him a list. And Joe doesn't even know what the hell those names are. They look like Sanskrit to him. Oh, man. I don't know that they should force this through. In a perfect world, they wouldn't. Especially not after what happened with Garland. But I'm finding it hard to argue with the people who are telling me, you know, you can't be, what was the one that I saw earlier tonight? Something to the effect of, you know, I think I can find that one because I do want to read it verbatim. Jeremy. That's his name. Oh. I don't know who all I follow. There it is. Oh, it's Jerry, not Jeremy. My bad. But here it is. He wasn't the one who wrote it. He just responded to it, and I remembered it was him. In what world would the same team that gave you Bork, Thomas, Estrada, and Kavanaugh debacles actually de-escalate if Republicans took a pass on legal and legitimate chance to fill a SCOTUS vacancy? It's like, you know, I can't argue with that. I can't. Just think, if you guys don't know the other names, just think about Kavanaugh. Whether you know what happened with Clarence Thomas's confirmation, whether you know about the borking of Robert Bork, or I forgot Estrada's first name. If you just know Kavanaugh, which we just came out of a couple of years ago, the way they treated that man, the absolute hell they put him and his family through to accuse him of sexual harassment. No, not Eric Estrada. Stop it. But God damn you. But the absolute hell they put that man through. This is the group of people that you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, if you don't do this, it'll calm things down and everybody will get along and it'll be shiny, happy people again. It was the Democrats who started the escalation wars with the Supreme Court. They did it back with Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas, for those of you who don't know, he's one of your sitting U.S. Supreme Court justices, was nominated by the elder Bush. That sounds like a white-haired pubes, doesn't it? The elder Bush 41. And he was absolutely just destroyed by by Democrats and the media because a woman came forward who said he sexually harassed her. The sexual harassment includes, and I'm not making this up, talking about porn stars at work, which perhaps you shouldn't do, and asking her if the pubic hair on his coke belonged to her. That was it. Those were her charges. He talked sexually sometimes at work, never threatened her job. She actually followed him to several different government agencies to work for him after these incidents supposedly happened. These horrible sexual harassment claims. You kept going to work for him? Yes. This right here, the Clarence Thomas hearings, was exactly why Joe Biden got up there and said that George Bush shouldn't nominate anybody else if an opening came up in his last year of office. The contentious Thomas hearings is what he talked about. Democrats did that. They started it even earlier than that with Robert Bork. And so we get into Obama's years. We get into the Obama years, and the Republicans keep seeing all of these fucking really liberal judges come up, and they're like, no, we're not voting on those guys. We're going to filibuster this shit. We're going to filibuster it. And we're not talking about SCOTUS justices here. We're just talking federal and appellate court. And Harry Reid, a Democrat who was running the Senate at the time, decided he would change the rules. It used to take 60 votes. 60 votes to get them passed. To stop the filibuster, honestly. To get it passed and get a vote done. And he's like, well, if you guys keep doing it, I'm going to change the rules. And I'm like, we're not giving up our powers to you, shitbag. And so Harry changed the rules. Made it so it took a 51 vote to pass a judge. But not a SCOTUS judge, you see. Not a SCOTUS judge, because that would be too important. It's okay to do all of the lower court judges, which you have a far more chance of seeing than the SCOTUS judge. So McConnell told him, if you do that, we're going to do what we do. You do what you got to do, we're going to do what we got to do. So when McConnell and the Republicans took back over, they changed it so it was the same thing with the Supreme Court justices. And Democrats, I can't believe he would do this. How dare that son of a bitch? You guys started this war. It is amazing to me how often Democrats and liberals start shit and then turn. They're like a kid who hits their brother and their brother slaps them back and they start crying. Like, you started it, bitch. Stop it. Don't start none, won't be none. There's a quote going around from Lindsey Graham right now about him talking about how you could use his own words against him. But you could use his own words against him if in 2026, not 2026, 2016, if either Donald Trump or Ted Cruz were to win and they got to name an appointment in their final year of office, that you could come back and go, Lindsey was a hypocrite. And he goes, and use my words against me. And there's a bunch of people pointing out, oh, see, he even said he was going to do it. But if you listen to what was said, if you listen to the full clip that was said, what he was talking about there was the continuing escalation in the Senate of this very nonsense about how it's not good for either party. And eventually, both parties will be in these positions. You started it with lowering the vote to 51. The confirmation process to 51. The Democrats did that. And now they're bitching because the same thing is being done. And look, I think what was done with Justice Garland, well, sorry, he's not a justice, Judge Garland. He wanted to be justice. What was done with Judge Garland was wrong. Not because they didn't give him a vote. There's nothing that guarantees you an up or down vote. There's not. It's not prescribed anywhere in the Constitution. It just says that the president will get to name Supreme Court justices with the advice and consent of the Senate. So you do need consent. You do need to get the vote to become a justice. There's nothing in there that says you actually get a vote. And that's fine. My problem with what Mitch McConnell did in 2016 is that he lied about why he did it. It was purely political. He should have just said so at the time. Instead, he tried to fall back on some bullshit. Well, it hasn't been done in 80 years. Shut up, Mitch. We know it was political. You should have just been honest about it then. And you know what? Right now, political as well. It's absolutely political. That's what made him a hypocrite. What made McConnell a hypocrite is not that he didn't do it. Not that he didn't give Garland an up or down vote. It's that he lied about why he did it. Because the same reasons that he said then are applicable now, other than every once in a while he'll catch himself and remember to say the part, no opposing party, Senate and president have done that in the closing year of a term. But it had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with that. It was just him flexing his dick. Going, you can't do it without us, bitch. And you're not gonna. Because, well, they started this fucking fight. The Democrats still started the fucking nomination fight with justices. This all comes back to them. You didn't post your stream on Twitter? Oh, yeah, did I not? My bad. I get distracted sometimes. Did anybody tweet it out? I'll have to see so I can just retweet them because I don't have the right screen open for that. I don't see it, so oh well. I'll tweet it out later if I remember. Who cares? Anyway, oh, Della Hayes says he did. Della Hayes, why didn't I see you? I know I follow you. There you are. Bam. Thank you for making me even lazier than I already am. So the sad part is that's so true. I'm going to take it tonight, though, guys, because I'm in pain. How many times can I use that tonight? I know on Satsu streams, I only get like, what is it, 10 times I'm allowed to mention if I've fallen down the stairs. How many times do I get to, we lazy folk got to look out, right? No, but tonight, I'm going to take the pads and be like, yeah, it's not lazy tonight. It's just pain. The Democrats started these fights, and they've just escalated them over and over and over again, and then they turn around and whine when it's done back to them. Of course, McConnell's going to try to sit a judge. Of course. Why wouldn't he? Why would he wait when there's the very real possibility Joe Biden's going to win? We don't have a situation. Yes, I did remember to send Jack an invite, sir. We don't have a situation where Trump is leading in the polls by 15% and it looks like he's going to win. There's a very real chance Joe Biden is going to be the next president of the United States. Get used to it, guys. It's just, it can happen. Why risk it? Why risk it? Saw Kamala. Kamala was bitching today because they should wait. They should wait and do what the Senate said they were going to do. You know, Kamala, if you Democrats weren't such shitbags, if you guys could do your job worth of fuck, you could have taken back the Senate easily. It's been you had a 2-year gap there where you guys could have taken back those seats. You didn't. Those are Republican states, monkey. All right, they didn't have a good chance to do it, but they could have. They didn't. And so they don't get the chance to stop Trump here. You know, to paraphrase your God, they won. There's a story. I forget who it was. It was congressional leaders. Paul Ryan. I can't remember if it was a mix of Senate and House, but they went up to see Obama when he first gets into the White House, and they're talking to him, and they're talking about working together. And Obama looks at him and goes, "Guys, I won. I appreciate what you're saying here, but I won. My way or the highway, guys. Do what I tell you to. I won. You get no say for the next 8 years." And Republicans really didn't. If they didn't agree with Obama, nothing got done. Shut down the government, what, twice? Or 3 times? I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 times. Because the Republicans didn't agree with Obama on one of those occasions. It was simply because they wanted to extend the individual mandate, where you guys had to go out, where you had to go buy insurance if you're an American, another year the same way, or was it a year or 2 years? I can't remember which, but they wanted to push it off the same way as the employer mandate was, where the employers had to offer, health insurance. And if they didn't, and they had a certain number of, oh my God. Is that just a nightly thing? At this time of night, I just start hiccuping. I need a new producer. The employer mandate, which was, it said employers had to offer, I believe it was actually termed affordable health care to their employees if they had, was it 50 or less, or 50 or more employees? I can't remember. But it was put off several years after the individual mandate went into effect, where you as a citizen had to buy it. Now, originally the Republicans wanted a whole bunch of things, like do all these things, and he's like, no. I'm like, okay. Well, sorry, it was do all these things and the individual mandate change we want. He's like, no. Like, okay, do less of these things and the individual mandate thing. No. And finally, they come back, look, just put off the individual mandate for people. That's all we're asking this time. And Obama went, no. And so the government got shut down and the Republicans got blamed for it. This is when Harry Reid, do you guys remember that shutdown? It was fucking amazing. Harry Reid is asked about kids with cancer in hospitals that are funded by the government. And what about them, you know? And Harry Reid, what about them? Harry Reid was going to let cancer kids die so that he could get Obama's bullshit pushed through. And you want to talk to me about playing dirty? Really? Really? You cunts were going to let kids with cancer die. Republicans, when they found out about these things, they came out and they said, let's get just a small bill done real quick to make sure those get funding. And Harry Reid went, no. No. Which is odd because they had done it for a few other things. They'd forced through some other ones. But yeah, no. Not those kids with cancer. Are you insane? Do you realize how good dying kids looks for our cause? how we can point at this and go, look what the Republicans did to these kids. Oh, Dingy Harry. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Assassin of the Gray says, well, Dingy Harry is a pedo scumbag. I don't know about him being a pedo, but I do remember instead of calling him Dirty Harry, Rush Limbaugh used to call him Dingy Harry. Mystic Forest, thank you so much. The fraud of the century and a boon for the insurance companies. Oh, dude. I have railed long and hard about how Obamacare was nothing but a payoff to insurance companies. If you look at it, that's all it was. That's all it was. Didn't know who Harry Reid was. I just looked it up. Surprise, surprise, he's a Democrat. You know, here's my favorite thing about Harry Reid. I know several liberals, hardcore liberals, who lived in Nevada at the time. Hated, absolutely hated Harry Reid, but voted for him every time anyway. Because they couldn't fathom having a Republican there. They thought he was dirty. They thought he was a shitbag. They hated him. But at least he wasn't a Republican. Like, you know, that pretty much sums up way too much partisan thinking. Way too much partisan thinking, especially when it comes to liberals. Especially, I mean, this is a group of people. Now, before anybody, oh, hey, monkey, be fair to both sides. Okay, all right. This is a group of people, many of whom believe Joe Biden rammed his finger into a woman. They believe that. They've said they believe it. And they're going to vote for him anyway. Doc Resurrect, thank you. The left doesn't care about dying kids. How often do they bring up the kids from the school bang bangs? YouTube won't let me say the S word. Oh, yeah, from the shootings. They're great. The left loves them if you get to point out the kids died and you can blame it on Republicans. Oh, they absolutely love them. Why do you think Harry Reid was like, yeah, those kids with cancer, fuck them? Yeah. The individual mandate was essentially liability for people. No. That's no. That might have even been how you think it was sold. The individual mandate was only to pay for insurance, or was to stuff money into insurance companies. That's all it was. Remember, and they don't talk about this much anymore either, the majority of the people who did not have insurance weren't poor. They weren't old. They weren't little kids. They were 20-somethings. They were 20-somethings who were doing well for themselves and decided not to get insurance at that point. They were the group least likely to need insurance. And at the beginning of the healthcare talks, they actually said that. And then slowly by the end of it, it was like, all of these uninsured people who can't get insurance. Like, no, they can get insurance. The vast majority of them were young people who made the decision not to get insurance. Now, why is that important? Well, because that's where the cash cow was. See, if you have, let's use auto insurance as an example. Let's say, that's what I meant. It was essentially liability insurance we have for our cars to avoid getting fined. Okay, I understand what you're saying there. Like in Michigan, as long as you have liability coverage, they consider you covered. But I'm going to play out the rest of my thought here. Let's say you have 10 people that own cars and they buy your insurance, and 9 of them keep wrecking their cars. That one that's left, he's the one that's making you money. All of the other ones are a drain on your system, a liability, if you will. So that his money becomes the most important there. They have liability here in Texas too. Well, here in Michigan, it's a different beast. Michigan has some of the most outrageous auto insurance in the country. You move up here, and I actually have a friend who came from Texas. She moved up here, and she thought she was doing a good thing. She called their insurance company, told them where she had moved to, And it more than tripled their insurance cost just from moving here. And by the way, they moved from a city to a smaller city, which should lower your tax or your insurance rate. But Michigan has some fucking ridiculous insurance. They just changed it. It's supposed to be lessening for us because, yeah, it's absolutely asinine. Anyhow, I didn't mean to get on insurance tonight. The idea that Obamacare was anything more than a payout to insurance companies is absolutely asinine. It's insane. It doesn't follow either the history or the reality. Just go and look at, this is going to lower your insurance rates. How many people got lower insurance out of that? They got lower coverage, a lot less coverage. Did you see the example of Biden reading off a teleprompter? I tweeted you. Are you talking about the one where he said, I lost the line? I saw that one. I've also seen the picture today of that giant television that is used as his teleprompter. I'm imagining that a normal teleprompter, the letters would have to take up the whole thing. You can keep your doctor. Yep, that was told to us as well. So let's get to the main topic of this tonight because, well, we should. Lindsey Graham has come out. We talked about Graham a little bit ago. He's come out and said that the Senate has the votes. The Senate's have the votes to seat the next SCOTUS for this president. I don't know if that's true. Alex says, we love you, monkey. Love you back. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if the president had, or if the Republicans have enough money or enough money. Sorry, I said money because I just got a donation right as I said that, and I looked at the dollar sign. Thank you, Vol Potato. Weren't a lot of poor people already covered by different state and federal Medicare or medical care before Obamacare? I think I remember seeing a couple videos about that. Yes, absolutely. Whether it was Medicare, Medicaid, Cali Care, whatever it's called up. They used to call it Romney Care. What is Massachusetts is actually called? Yeah. Old people and young people were already covered. The vast majority of people who weren't were, I think it was the ages of 18 to 40, something like that. Anyhow, I said when this first came up, I don't think the Republicans will be able to do it. And I'm still not convinced. Not with how it sits right now. You've already had Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, two senators, for those who don't know who they are. They're Republicans who rarely actually do Republican things. They're rhinos in the traditional sense. Susan Collins got elected in Maine and reelected in Maine, which is not typically all that conservative. It's more purple. She won her last race. I want to say like something 70% of the vote, and she's probably going to lose this time. She's not a hardcore Republican. She's just Republican enough. What is the equivalent of a blue dog Democrat? A red bitch Republican? I don't know. So she's never been fully on board with conservatism, but she's always been, and you can rely on her when it's not going to upset her people. With the Kavanaugh debate, Democrats decided to go after her. They'd been looking at that one for a while. They've been looking at her seat because, as I said, it's a purple area up there, and it's quite blue. And they're like, oh, we can get her if we tie her to Trump. And they've been trying that, and it's working right now. But these are the two people that we know weren't going to side with the president. They never do. And especially now that people are using their affiliation as just their affiliation. You got to get rid of them because they're too Republican. and that's working against them, of course they're not gonna go. The other one is Mitt Romney. With Romney up there, he said he's coming out. It'll be today that he's coming out and going to give his opinion on how he'll be voting. And most of us are expecting him to say, yeah, he's not going to vote to confirm either. Which means all 50 of the remaining Republicans in the chamber would have to back this nomination. And then Mike Pence would have to cast the deciding vote. Because right now it's 53 to 47. It takes 4 votes to, or 4 seats to flip the Senate in November. They have a three vote lead right now. And at least 2 of them have already said they're not voting with the Republicans. So if Graham's right, and he might be, the rest of the Republicans might be like, look, this might hurt me later, but it's better in the short term to get a justice in there who's going to actually uphold the Constitution instead of pulling that bitch shit that John Roberts keeps doing. Romney is a cunt. Yeah, he's he really doesn't like Trump, man. Really doesn't like Trump. And he was a Massachusetts fucking Republican to begin with. How he ever got the nomination is beyond me. But yeah, he was their nominee once. I can't wait to see if he comes out and says he's going to vote against whoever the president picks to see what Trump says about him. Because it won't be kind. It'll be kind of funny. I've been saying for a long time we need less civility in our lives. And while the president could be a little more presidential on some matters, I don't care if he goes after his political opponents in a shitty way. Why the fuck do I care? I'm so tired of the distinguished gentleman to my left when you really mean that asshole that I'm talking about right now. Just be honest. But you can't do that in politics. You gotta be nice. You can't say that dick over there, that bitch over there. Oh, did you call him a bitch? Yeah, I did. Notice I said him, not her, because I would never call a woman a bitch. They're the dicks. If they have the votes, the election's going to get... You know, the funny part of this is? The funniest part of this is if this goes through now, if this were to go through within the next, say, 10 to 15 days, by the time the election rolls around, another month away, nobody's going to care. It's not going to be... You might have a couple of ads, but Biden can't exactly go out there and run an ad that says, they said that you couldn't seat them in an election year. Because all they have to do is play Biden saying you absolutely should. There's no politician up there who's not being a hypocrite. That's what Graham was alluding to in that meeting of the Judiciary Committee that I was talking about before. Like we're all making this worse, and we're just going to keep making it worse until we decide not to. That's what he was getting at. They're all a bunch of hypocrites. You can't go up there and play that. If they play Mitch saying, you know, we can't sit a president out there in Kentucky where he's running, he can just run them going, we have to do it. It's funny as shit, man. Oh, man. The Kavanaugh nomination, which was just brought up in chat there, shows you all you really need to know. All you really need to know. You didn't see that kind of shit with Sotomayor. Sotomayor is a woman who said that, I forget the exact quote here, so I'm paraphrasing, but women of color are smarter than white men. They can make better decisions than white men, guys. Kind of racist, really. Should have been an immediate nope. Sorry, we're not going to have open racists on our panel deciding what the Constitution means. Low Res Boy says, interesting racist take. It is. And if you go look it up, it doesn't actually get better if you read her real words. She was asked, do you believe women of color can make a better decision than white men or something like that? I forget exactly the wording, but yeah, she said it. Do you guys remember the huge blow up and how they had to have special hearings about her being a racist? Nope. You only see that shit coming from the left. You only see it coming from them. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's both sides. It's not. It's not. Mitch McConnell doing what he's doing, whether you consider it playing politics or hypocritical or whatever, I don't give a fuck. All of it has been within his job description. He didn't try to absolutely destroy a Republican nominated black man for the Supreme Court. They didn't go after Kavanaugh and be like, oh, he might have pulled his dick out of somebody at a college party 40 years ago. Sorry, 20 years ago. 20 years ago. He drinks a beer now and then, you guys. That's the Democrats doing that. They're the ones who do that shit. I'm half Puerto Rican and I despise Sonia Sotomayor. She's a communist hag. Her decisions, oh my. If you ever get to read her opinions, she's an idiot. She's an absolute idiot. She is the epitome of voting with your feelings. Oh my. Like, bitch, but what does the law say? What does the law say? Every time I come across one of hers, I'm reading, because when a major case comes out, I always read them, and many of the minor cases I read. And I'll be reading through the majority opinion, and then you get to the minority opinion. It's like, oh, Sonia wrote it. It's always, I get excited, you guys, because she's such an idiot. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, thank God she's off the bench. Look, at least with Ginsburg, she'd cite law more than her own personal feelings. It is amazing how many times Sotomayor's opinion is, this is mean. And I am exaggerating, but oh, this reminds me. Amy, what the fuck is her name? Amy Barrett. I don't know what her fucking name is. Amy something. The one that they think Trump is going to nominate, that cute redhead that they should have nominated instead of Kavanaugh. I saw a thing earlier. I actually saw it yesterday. Well, what is today? Today's Tuesday. So I actually saw it on Sunday, where they were talking about how she was instrumental in undermining the Obama Title IX rules for colleges. And what it was is that she was on the appellate panel that heard a case about a John Doe who was accused by Jane Doe of sexual assault at a college. He lost his ROTC scholarship and his ROTC spot for a full year because of this. And he sued, saying they had violated his civil rights. There was no due process. Now, if you read the actual particulars of the case, it's really bad. For instance, let's start with what the claims are. She claims that he sexually assaulted her, that she woke up one night and he was fondling her, and that in the midst of fondling her, he told her that he had been, well, digitizing her in her sleep. Those are her claims. He had to go before one of these kangaroo courts that the Obama administration set up in colleges. He was given the complaint itself, he was given right before he had to go in. Their fact finding is what he was given. Much of it redacted. He wasn't allowed to bring any witnesses that all claimed otherwise. He wasn't allowed to present any evidence that contradicted the bitch, including the fact that she was still texting him in a really loving, kind way after the supposed digitizing. You think Tara Reid did that with Joe Biden? You think he's got text messages from her about how much she still loves him? He claims that they dated for a while. She tried to commit suicide. He broke up with her. He didn't break up with her when she. That sounded horrible. She tried to commit suicide. He's like, fuck you, bitch. No, he called and got her help. And then shortly afterwards, they broke up. By the way, none of that was mentioned in the college findings. So it comes before Judge Barrett and there were two other women who heard this case, and they found that it was highly likely that they discriminated against John Doe because of him being male. Like, yeah, that's a real possibility looking at all the facts we have. And the New York Times wrote, was it the Times or the Post? I can't remember. See, the New York Times or the Washington Post. One of them wrote up this whole story about how she helped destroy what this is, to set the tone, you guys. You mean fairness? That okay. So I'm guessing that's where this is coming from. That's where they're going to try to go after her. Did you tell this boy that he had rights? How dare you, bitch? How dare you, bitch? I just love that that's even a thing. Look, men shouldn't have rights. Oh, by the way, the people who reported this is the greatest thing. The people who reported this to the college, because it wasn't the Jane Doe. It's this group that, I'm using air quotes, helps women who've been assaulted. But this group that helps women who get assaulted at one point said they can't remember if they retweeted it or if they had flyers out or something. Said something to the effect of colleges don't have a rape problem. They have a men problem. Yeah. Which is partially what led them to go, maybe this is just because he's a dude. Yeah. A judge that believes in due process. What a monster. No. What a bitch. She's a woman. She's a Republican. We can call her a bitch. I don't think she is. There's nothing I've seen so far that indicates that. But I mean, I like that I'm allowed to call women bitches again. It makes me happy when I can use words. The Dems saying they will impeach if Trump tries to install a new judge is insane. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Nancy Pelosi was asked by Stephanopoulos. Stephanopoulos said, some people are saying. And to that point, I hadn't seen anybody say it. But some people are saying that you guys might try to impeach the president or AG Barr. Well, here's the thing. They can do that if they want to. They can pick some stupid ass thing to impeach over. It's not going to stop the nominating process. It's not going to stop the Senate from deciding. Ugh. I don't understand where they're coming from. Other than that just shows more of just how petty these fucknut Democrats are. I'm sorry. I don't see how you can come to any other conclusion. I saw somebody arguing today. Somebody got mad at me because wrong monkey, she said, good morning. Stop it. Different area of that clip. How dare you? I got an argument with somebody because Now This put out a video showing Mitch McConnell. Let me find that one because I don't want to take anybody out of context here. I want to make sure I'm being fair to everyone. Not that I give a shit about being fair to these assholes. Nope, that's the other one. This one. Mitch McConnell offered condolences to RBG's family. And them, they actually said that, I'm reading it as written, and them immediately ignored her dying wish for the next president to appoint her replacement. I don't know how many more times I can say this to these people. RBG's dying wish, even if she actually said that, we had it on video, her frail looking Weekend at Bernie's face actually muttering the words, "Not until the next president is seated," doesn't fucking matter. There is no provision in the Constitution, not a fucking one. Believe me, I've read it. There's not a mention of it in the Federalist Papers. Believe me, I've read them. That says fuck all about Supreme Court justices being decided by what the dying Supreme Court justice's last wish was. Not a fucking thing. And I simply said that. And somebody got very mad at me. They said, Mitch McConnell shredded the Constitution 4 years ago. And I'm not even talking about what he did with Garland. I was like, oh, well, be specific. Maybe I'll agree with you. And that's actually what I said. Be specific. Maybe I'll agree with you. Because I'm not going to say that McConnell's not done anything to shred the Constitution. These are modern politicians who want to cling to power more than anything else. So I don't put anything past them. I want to remind you what he just said. I'm not even talking about Mitch McConnell and what he did with Garland. Okay. Well, what are you talking about? What he did with Justice Garland. Oh my God. You literally just said that's not what you were talking about. I get into a long argument with this idiot who somehow in this conversation confused me with somebody else, apparently. And is making the argument that Mitch McConnell not giving the vote back in 2016 is just like if they didn't give the vote because of RBG's final wish. I'm like, no. I mean, if Democrats controlled the House or controlled the Senate and they wanted to do that now and they wanted to claim it was because of her dying wish, they could claim it was for her dying wish, but that's not what would give them the power to do it. Their actual fucking job description gives them the power to do that. I was just like, what in the absolute fuck is going on here? But yeah, convinced. It's a violation. Called it an abuse of power. Like, no, it was a use of power. McConnell did in 16. You don't have to like it, but it wasn't an abuse of power. It was a use of power. Quite literally his fucking job description, you silly git. Oh, man. Do they have to yell out, I have the power to abuse their power? I'm running into these same fucking morons repeating the same fucking nonsense. I saw one today who argued that all of this is just, it's Mitch McConnell. He started this shit when he made it so that there was only 51 votes needed to seat a new justice. I'm like, back it up, bitch. You don't even know your history. You're repeating stupid shit other stupid people said. Stop it. At least go look. It's not like this shit is hard to find. If you wanted to find out why McConnell took the nuclear option, go look. It's really easy to find. All of the articles at the time pointed it out. They tried to make the Democrats seem fine for what they did with the federal bench and the appellate bench by going, well, at least it wasn't SCOTUS. 12-second Google search is too hard for most people. Cato, you're not wrong, unfortunately. Hi, Nuts. I saw you come in. I meant to say hi when I saw you, but I was in the middle of yelling. Yeah, Yeah, and another person in response to that Now This video, they posted the worst senator in the history of the United States and then put McConnell up there. Our country's biggest traitor and the evil asshole who shredded our Constitution, spelled shredded wrong. Our Constitution, may he rot in hell. And that is in response to Mitch McConnell doing his job. Just going to let that hang there for a minute. That is in response to Mitch McConnell doing his constitutional job. Man. James Wood just called Don Lemon the finger sniffer. He's not the finger sniffer. He's the finger wiper. James Woods is wrong there. James, get your shit together, man. Usually you're better than that. Amy Klobuchar was accidentally honest today. Former Democratic presidential nominee. She tweeted out, "The people pick the president and the president nominates the justice. That is how it works." She tweeted that out at 5:02 p.m. An hour and 3 minutes later, she tweeted out, "People are voting right now to pick our president. That president should pick the next Supreme Court justice." Somebody got a lot of shit. She was right the first time. Trump has been president for 4 years now. He was voted in. He wasn't picked by anybody. He was just voted in. And her nonsense, that follow-up, that walk it back because she accidentally told the truth. And again, going back to 2016, Obama got to nominate Garland. His part of the job was done. Oh, nobody stopped Obama from doing his job. Obama could have withdrew it, could have withdrew Garland's name and picked someone else. He could have done that until the Republicans agreed with somebody if that's what he wanted to do. He got to do his job. Nobody stopped him from that. But Donald Trump is the president. He's absolutely able to nominate, and that's how it works. She's right. Unfortunately, she as a Democrat had to walk back reality. She literally had to walk back repeating what the Constitution said. That's your modern Democrat. Nuts, thanks for dropping the Streamlabs link, sweetie. Guys, I am brought to you by you. Hit the like button, hit the share button. And if you can, coins are appreciated. I was trying to think of a fun word and none came to mind. The only ones that came to mind was shekels and pesos. I'm like, no, we've done those to death. I need to learn loonies. Loonies are always appreciated. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that one. This one just, it made me laugh because it was so stupid. So there was a New York Times article today about how the Manhattan District's Attorney's Office suggested for the first time on Monday that it had grounds to investigate President Trump and his business for tax fraud. It is the DA's most detailed disclosure yet about his efforts to obtain Trump's tax returns. Donald Trump has been doing business in New York City for decades. Decades. I believe it's literally longer than I've been alive. He started in the 70s, right? And over that time, they've never had a reason to go after his tax returns until Democrats started bitching about him not giving out his tax returns when he ran for president in 2016. David says 1973. So yeah, literally longer than I've been alive. And this is the first time they've gone after his federal tax returns. Anybody think that might be political? That the Manhattan DA might be playing politics here to try to get a peek at those so he could leak them to the press and be a hero? But anyway, somebody responded, from what I've seen so far in America, I don't think anyone has the balls to actually enforce IN-FORCE. I don't think anyone has the balls to actually enforce the law against a rich Republican. They seem to be above the law, and they'd be the first to tell you. That's just absolutely asinine. And as soon as I heard it, I immediately thought of Terry Gilliam. No, Andrew Gilliam. Andrew. Two different people. Andrew Gilliam, the former Florida gubernatorial candidate who was recently, well, by recently, what, we're 6, 8 months, a year out of being caught in a hotel room with a ODing male hooker, a pimp, and a bunch of meth scattered about the room in open sight. He was visibly intoxicated. Now, they never said they smelled alcohol on his breath, but he claims that his inebriation was from a wedding that he had been at earlier that day. And they asked his wife about this wedding, and she went, what? She had no clue about any wedding. And then just the other day, Andrew Gilliam came out and told us that he's bisexual, you guys. Like, yeah, kind of got that from the hotel room, dumbass. But he was allowed to leave that hotel room. There was a pimp in there. There was an ODing male prostitute in there. And there was a bunch of drugs in plain sight. When the pimp called the police, they didn't even have time to clean up the room and get the drugs off the tables. Yeah. So, just rich Republicans for real? Low Res Boy who says, what was it, 3 years ago? No, this was just, it was only like last year because he lost his race in 2018. He was running against DeSantis in 2018. So I'm thinking it had to have been last year because it was after he lost, but he's still an up-and-comer in the Democratic Party. Yeah, he likes his uppers and coming. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. I'm not ashamed of it, though. They didn't even take him downtown. Didn't do anything. Oh, all right, you walk home safely, Andrew. We do have a problem in this country of famous people, whether they're famous from politics or from sports or entertainment. We have a problem with famous people being treated differently by the police. That's just true. But you can't sit there and just say, oh, no, nobody will go after the Republicans. Really? Do you not remember? I don't know. What was it? The whole impeachment thing, the Mueller investigation, Cohen and Roger Stone and Michael Flynn, all these guys being arrested, going to jail. No? Doesn't ring a bell? Huh, must have been too long ago. For fuck's sake. Now you have the Mueller team yesterday. One of their people came out and said that they were hampered by Mueller. They were hampered by Mueller's decision not to prosecute. Uh-huh. It wasn't that whole lack of evidence thing. Mueller's refusal to prosecute. On what grounds? Oh, that's right. None. They talked to some Russians, you guys. And? Yeah. Really, and 31 phones got wiped clean on accident. Well, yes, Eagle, the great thing about that is the guy who came out and said it. I forget his name, and I apologize for that. I didn't save the story anywhere, or I would tell you. But apparently, 2 of his phones got wiped. Yeah. They all got wiped on accident. Well, remember, some of them, they didn't say all of them were wiped on accident. Some of them were wiped on accident. The other ones, they're not sure why they got wiped. Yeah. For those of you who don't know what that story's about, the Mueller team had government-issued phones, and a bunch of them have no data on them whatsoever, several of which were factory reset, reportedly because the people who were using them forgot the code to log into it. Weissman, is that his name? P-Dog, thank you, thank you. I know I saw the story yesterday, but yeah. Mary J., I always say her name wrong. Capote. The chick from Chappaquiddick would disagree with them on only Republicans getting away with murder. Ask Juanita Broderick if she feels like only Republicans get away with shit. Phone should automatically secure backup remote regularly. Oh, I agree. I agree. With the government ones, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I can never say Mary Jo's last name. Sorry. Capichny? I know if I hear it, then I can repeat it. But if it has been a while, it's been a while. Yeah, that's all right. Don't worry. Teddy got to go to his death quietly in his bed, surrounded by family. Stenlock, thank you, says, hold on to this for a bit, will you? I will do my best. He said for me, but I'm going to forget that part. And Dark Resurrect, thank you. Oops, I forgot the code. How foolish of me. Nothing suspect here. No, sir. Inconspicuous whistling. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I forget my passwords all the time. But that's because I purposefully don't memorize my passwords on a lot of stuff. I pick passwords that even I can't guess. I will sometimes just randomly type shit into my computer, and I don't know what they are. If you have a phone that you're using all the time, that you have to put your password into all the time, and you suddenly forget it. Like right now, I figured out, remember guys, when I was trying to, if you're watching my game stream, I was trying to set myself a timer on my phone and it kept giving me an error. That happened because when Lady Monkey went on Irate Prostate's channel, I was going to have her just use my account and switch the picture, but it wasn't updating the picture fast enough. So she signed into hers. To her, I'm trying not to say the G word because I don't want to set off my phone and irritate myself. But when she did it, instead of just adding her account to the ones on my list, she signed me out. I'm like, shit. So I had to get a brand new password and everything because I didn't know it. Well, when you put a new password, it signs you out of your phone. So I'm signed out of my phone right now, and I don't have a way to sign back in yet. I have to get a new password again so I can sign into my damn phone. So I can use, I don't know why you need to be signed into your G account in order to use the timer function on your fucking phone. Seems a little weird. Just a little bit. It's not like are you selling me ads based on what timers I use? I don't understand why that would be one of the limited functions. I can play all the games that I have on there. I can use my Google or my YouTube. I can use my Twitter. Do I have Facebook on there? No, my Snapchat. All of this stuff still works. The only thing that doesn't work is that fucking timer. I'm like, okay. You cannot be trusted with technical equipment. No, it was done on purpose. Like I said, If you want to hack me, you have to be as random as my brain is. Good luck. I mean, there are very few. I know off the top of my head, I know 2 of my passwords. And that's just because I've used them so often that I remember them. What? Anyhow, yeah, so I can close that story down. How did I get to there? That's where I want to be. Nope, right here. Andy Slavitt, who is an ex-Obama healthcare head, he tweeted this out tonight, and it was really weird. It says, Cory Gardner's full statement and his final one. Now, here's the thing. It's Cory Gardner. He's a senator from Colorado who's up for re-election this year. This is his statement on whether or not he's going to vote for Trump's nominee, which he said he will. But Cory Gardner's full statement and his final one. He's not dead. Unless they're planning to Hillary the man, he's still got plenty of statements to say from the Senate floor, even if he loses. He's got right up till December 31st. He's the senator from Colorado. Actually, when is the new Congress seated? It's early January, right? Same as I know the president's on the 20th. I forget what day the Congress is, but his final statement. Are you sure he won't die? Well, here's the thing, Shrouded. No, because we're talking about somebody who's going against the Democrats. And it's not nice, Frank. And 2, I don't know what they did to Cory after this was tweeted. Dark Resurrect, thank you. Sorry, y'all, but I have to bow now, or I have to bow out early work day tomorrow. So good night, Monk and Chat Heathens. Have a good night, sir. I hope you have a good day at work. Nut says, meaning they aren't re-electing him? Now, here's the thing. Cory is losing right now in Colorado, according to most polls, I believe it is. And there's a chance he'll lose. A good chance. Because Colorado is becoming a blue state. Just ask Cryptic about that sometime. He is not happy. And I know what they meant. It's just... how about and a final nail in his political coffin? How about that? And his final one. Should we be looking at you? Should we be paying attention to what you're up to over there, Mr. Former Obama healthcare head? Just seems weird, man. Oh, God, guys, hang on. I got to stretch just a little bit. Oh, that sucks. Oh, man. When they told me that they didn't have my medicine, I had to walk away because I started welling up because I knew what the night was going to be like. And the girl who was waiting on me is a friend of mine. She used to work for me. She used to be one of my best CSMs. And like, I don't want you to see me this way. Look away, woman, look away. And then I got home, had myself a little breakdown, then I got better. I had a good sleep, what little I got there. I left Lords of the Night around 11:30. And I went straight into bed. And I woke up, I want to say it was just about 2:20. I was like, well, shit. I hurt like fuck and I'm not tired. This is not a good combination. Let me tell you something. When you're in that kind of pain, sleep is your best friend. It's better than any drug I've ever had. Because when I sleep, I don't feel it. I gotta take some more of this. Sorry, guys. I think I'm gonna wrap up here, though. I've had all the rants I can take. And I might go try to do a game stream. We'll see. Let me swallow these real fast. Tonight is they didn't have your gabapentin. There was some mistake between my doctor and the pharmacy, and it didn't get called in till way too late for me to pick it up. Tonight is Tuesday. We'll be on Scribe Light's channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Lords of the Night. I will be around today. I imagine after I get my pain medicine, I'm going to go to sleep. And until then, the pharmacy, I believe they said they open at 6. So I might be going up there in about an hour. How's Little Butt school going? Very good. She's enjoying it. She's having fun because she gets to do her math on a whiteboard. She thinks that's awesome. And she's really liking math. So she's taken after her mama so far, which is awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up here. Keep an eye on Twitter. If I do decide to do something, midnight, I probably won't do the game stream with the I just realized what time it was. And if they do, I'm going to check. I'm going to call the pharmacy and check and make sure I heard correctly. If they open at 6, I won't be doing a game stream. But if they open later than that, yeah, I'll do one. But it depends entirely on them. If they open at 6, my ass is going to be there with bells on. Be like, give it to me. And I'll pick up a donut or two. Guys, have a good night. I'll see you next time. Oh, before I do that, thank you for the donations, and thank you guys for coming in and hanging out. Don't they deliver? I live in the middle of nowhere, dude. No, they don't deliver shit here. But thank you for always supporting me and listening to me, even in this state. You guys are amazing. I do love you. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time. I don't have a song today.